So, welcome to the latest edition of Lunchtime Learnings. I'm delighted to be joined today by Stefanie Mutton from Belvoir in Gloucester. Stephanie was recently on one of my induction courses, and Stephanie was very kind about the training course, but also said she wanted to be a guest on the podcast. So, here she is. So, Stephanie, welcome.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, what made you decide to give us a bit of background first of all, and then how you became an estate agent and how long you've been doing it for?
Okay, so my background is retail customer servicey. Was a customer service department manager in a supermarket, then moved into Gloucester. Within that, I was doing my degree in history, also travelled Australia, and then came back after COVID and was a bit like, I'm going to get like a real job now, not like a hospitality job. I want my career. And then honestly, I was looking for a research job. I was looking for a history researchy job. Everything I was finding was like, you're great, you haven't got the admin experience. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll find like a stepping stone job, like a year in an office, see what I can do. And then this was advertised as a customer service administrator. And I was like, well, I can do half of that. I'm sure I can learn how to write an email. And then I did it. I did the interview. I loved it. And then within 2-3 weeks, I was like, okay, this isn't the stepping stone. This fits. This is really good. And yeah, I've been here since March. Yeah, March.
Okay, so you've been doing it 5 months.
Yeah.
So, in your first 5 months, what have you learned? How have you found being an estate agent?
Completely different to what I thought it would be, but in all the good reasons. Like it's so much more than you expected, but in like a good way. Like honestly, I thought there would be more like qualifications I would need to do to be able to do things. I didn't know I could learn on the job, and I really liked that. Like I did a viewing my first day, like Anthony threw me in. But no, yeah, I've loved it. Learning how how to value a house and like the correct way to market things and salesy stuff. Yeah, it's just been fun.
Okay, so coming back, I know you worked at Morrison's and I know you worked at Costa.
Yeah.
So what did you learn? What were lessons learned in customer service from there that you think are transferable skills to being an estate agent?
Oh, like the building rapport with people, like, and it's not a one person fits all. Like you have to take every person as their own person. So everyone's situation, no matter how they walk in the door, you're there to help them, no matter if it's like making them a latte or selling them a house. Like they come in for a service and it's helping them get the best experience possible. But then it taught me how to resolve problems and conflicts and how to deal with people shouting in my face. And how to like keep that like professional there when all you want to do is just turn around and scream in their face back. But yeah, it's like I think working in retail, I think everyone should do it for like a year at least. It just gives you so much skills, especially in the customer service role itself. You just build up such I could talk to anyone, like anyone. I'll pick up the phone to anyone. Like, it doesn't bother me now. Whereas a lot of people I know that haven't worked in retail, they struggle with that.
Okay, so that's interesting because there's a lot of people that are watching this will still have the fear of getting on the phone and having conversation.
Yeah.
I remember when you came on the training, one of the things I got you to do was to do a little video to talk about you coming around to the property to discuss it. And I knew at the time, you and the other people on the course looked at me as if I was mad, thinking, why the hell would I want to do that? What is sticking with me? I'm going to have a sleepless night tonight. But you did it, and you did it exceptionally well. So there's people that have definitely still got fear of picking up the phone. There's people that have got fear of doing videos. So what tips can you share to help people with overcoming their fear?
I think one of the main things I've learned, I heard somebody say once, was nobody will ask you to do something if they don't think you can do it. So if my boss has asked me to make a phone call, it's because he knows I can achieve what he wants me to get out of that phone call. And it's just believing that what you're saying has purpose and has like importance. I think like I would often pick up the phone and be like, whatever they say is going to be like more important than me. But I'm like, no, actually, like sometimes I need to lead and control this conversation, and you're so in your right to do that. So yeah, and it's just like if it's over the phone, what are they going to do? You could just hang up. If it's in person, I get it. The nervousness is a bit more, but over the phone, you can just see you later.
Okay, so I've got a lot of people here that have been business owners, and they really find it hard to come and do a podcast.
Yeah.
You were like, Stephen, when am I going to be on your podcast?
You did mention it every 10 minutes of the sales course.
I never. So, you know, again, you're stepping out your comfort zone today to do it, but you've done it, you know, and that's absolutely fantastic. So I definitely think there is a lesson here, and there was definitely a lesson about the recording. So talk to us about that video that you did and how you found it and coming out your comfort zone, and has it helped? And I'm crossing my fingers here to
it definitely helped, knowing that I did it well and that I did it like you could have just been saying that. But I think, I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't send it until the morning. So I didn't do it in the evening. Like I did it once I woke up in the morning, I was in my car and I was like, no, I need to do this. So if I walk in there and no one else has done it, everyone's done it but me. So again, it was just that. I think I personally, in that situation, it was because I felt comfortable with the people who were going to see it. So like I didn't feel like I was like out of place to do that. But then I think it's also just learning that no matter like nothing, it's that true saying of like nothing will ever like change or get better if you don't step out your comfort zone. Like comfort is always similar to what you're doing, and if you want to succeed and you want to get better and go higher in whatever you're doing, I just think doing those little things, even if it's like one small thing a day, just that little out your comfort zone will just build up, and then it won't be out your comfort zone anymore. It will just be natural.
Okay, yeah. I think that's great, and I think you hit on the point there as well. Professionals practice before they play. It's something that we spoke about, and yes, you know, you definitely practiced, you did it, you delivered it, and you did it really, really well. So well done. And I think there's a massive lesson that you're sharing about the magic happens when you do get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I do definitely believe that. Like nothing comes from comfort, I don't think. Like I think listen, in all stuff of life, like in work, in relationships, in anything, being comfortable can be a positive, but also can like it won't take you any further than what you're at once you get comfortable. I think you always need to be striving for something that little bit more. Like once you learn something, you learn the next thing. That's like, and then you just keep going.
Okay, so you talked about learning then, and you talked about being 1% better, and you talked about being in agency so far for 5 months. So what are you doing to self-improve on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
I'm reading a lot at the moment, which is I've got back into reading. I kind of fell out of reading after my degree because I did so much of it. But I've got back into reading a lot of essays, which I really like, and a lot of like just essays on random topics. Just it could be like there's a John Green book. I can't remember what it's called, but it's just an essay. It's just loads of essays on the randomest things. But it's just keeping my brain like that was one of the reasons I wanted to get into a job like this compared to Costa or Morrison's. I didn't think I was using my brain. My brain wasn't really being challenged compared to my degree. And I was like, and there's nothing against people in Costa or in Morrison's or anything in that kind of role. I needed something more to like. And now I feel like I've got that in my job. I can use my brain a bit more, and I have to think and figure stuff out. And I can also do that outside of work. So I have that, and I have that life balance now compared to in Costa when I was working 13 hours a day and I didn't want to read a book. Now I've got time to get home and read and do my own like thing and podcasts. And I'm not just saying that, but I have got really back into podcasts at the gym. So that's been really helpful.
Okay, and any property related podcasts that will help people?
No, but I have been listening to the CEO of Stephen Bartlett that you recommended. That one. I do really like that one.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So coming from customer service and then working in a estate agency, and you said you've been out and you've done some appraisals. How have you found people's perception of estate agents when you've been out there?
I've had quite positive feedback. I had somebody say to me the other day that I was the first estate agent that made them feel calm, and a lot of other estate agents made them feel very like pressured and pushed. So I feel like that's something I definitely want to change the viewpoint of, that we're not pushy sales car people sort of thing. How that said that like salesy like stereotype. Because at the end of the day, if they don't like us, they're not going to let us sell their house. So, and that's what I've always said. Like, I don't ever want to come across as a robot. Like, if you want to instruct me, I'm going to be Steph, and like Steph, the estate agent, not just an estate agent. You'll get Steph. Like, some days I'll be in a great mood. Some days I'll be like joking and laughing with you. Other days I'll be like, your solicitor's rubbish. We need to sort this out. So it's like, yeah, everyone's real, and I think that's the main thing.
Okay, so what have you learned? So can you see some improvements that agents need to make, apart from what you said about the calmness? You know, you've spoken about solicitors being rubbish already, and you've only been doing this for five months. Obviously, I've got slightly more experience, and actually I've been asked to do a webinar today, and they said to speak to some solicitors, and they said, well, what do you want to do it on? So I said, well, it'd be nice to do it on communication and how solicitors and agents can work together, and brokers, because we're all part of a chapter to help people move, and how can we work together to find a way of doing it. So it's an interesting perception already, that some solicitors are rubbish, which we want to get away from.
Exactly. And
are there things that you think can be improved? And the dogs are joining us, so what they want to say.
That's fair. I don't know whether I'm qualified enough to say anything, because I'm so early on. I wouldn't want to like I haven't come across any negative personally. Like, and I know like I said, I've only, out of my office, I've only ever met you guys, who were the other estate agents in like within the group, and I've met a couple. Like, we've got a few offices on this road, and I've popped into some of them, but I really don't know how other estate agencies work, like other companies and how they run. So I wouldn't know how, like, what they would have to. That's the only feedback I got, was that one that said you're the only one that made me feel calm. So I don't know what that suggests. But
that's fine. So from what you've seen and working with the people that you've worked with, and obviously coming to the calls, what do you think it takes to be an exceptional estate agent?
Confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to like go out there and find the business, which I think is something that I've got a lot since I was on the course. That like that hour of making, what you called it, the hour of making opportunities,
creating business relationships.
Yeah, so that hour every day is going to get you far, and the client for life and stuff like that. And I think building that rapport all the time and constantly being on top of your like funnel of properties coming through, and you've always got something going, but also then knowing where you're at, and then knowing your area as well is really important, because that's what a lot of people want you to be, is just know the local area. So working in the area that I grew up in is really beneficial, I think, because if I was going to go to like London or somewhere, I wouldn't know what I was talking about. Like, it would be cool, but I wouldn't know what I was talking about. So yeah.
Okay, so confidence is an interesting point.
Okay.
So how do you build that confidence up, and how have you built that up in the first 5 months?
That course, honestly, and I'm not just saying that, it was that course. I went on that course and I came back and I was like, I can do this. Like, it's not just my mum telling me that I'm good at my job, or it's other people that have never met me and didn't know me from Adam have gone, actually, no, I can see you, like, you're meant for this. So, like, yeah, that course gave me a lot of confidence to, like, continue and, like, try and smash it. But then I also think it's the same thing. It's like the athlete's practice thing, just doing it more. The more I do viewings, the more I feel comfortable at it. The more I do valuations, the more I feel comfortable at it. The more I speak to solicitors, email people, build the relationships, do the marketing, all of it. The more I do it, the more I feel confident in it. And I'm sure in a year's time, I'll look back at what I'm doing now and think it's awful, because I'll be like, have more experience. So, yeah, I still feel very fresh at it, but I just feel like a sponge at the moment. I want to take as much in as possible and then learn it all, and then just hopefully get better at it.
Where do we see you in 5 years' time, Steph?
I really struggle with these questions. I really don't know, because if I say this, like, I would never have seen myself living in Australia for 3 years. Like, and the world just seems to have a funny way with my life that just throws curveballs. But I'd like to think that I'd probably, like, hopefully bought my own place at that point, and then was really comfortable in this job and was like had really made like an impact at it, and was still like, yeah. But I don't know. Like I said, it's only been 5 months. Who knows?
You're right. So lessons from Australia then. What did you learn out there?
Aircon is vital. No matter where you are in the world, if you're a good person, you're gonna meet your people. And like, I went out there with no one, and I came back with a family, and I still have contact with everyone that I met out there. And it's that if you get out what you put in. So like, I built a whole life there, and people took me in, and like, they didn't have to, out of their kindness, and took me in and helped me. But I also repaid that with like, with other things, that it was just, yeah, it was and also different cultures, like I learned all about the different cultures and all about the different ways of life and the people that you meet. And I think that's also really helped me in this job, because you meet so many people, different kind of tenants, different kind of buyers, different kind of sellers. And I never did, but I have no judgment to anybody, like literally no one. And I think Australia is like established that even more. Well, I want to meet people from like all over the world, and that I would travel.
Great. Okay. Well, look, thank you so much for giving up your time. I'm really grateful. No, you're welcome. I'm sure you've helped some people that are also starting on this journey as well. Getting some belief and getting the confidence and building it all up. And also, you know, the lessons that you learned from Morrison's and Costa, and your customer service, and not prejudging. And I think, you know, you said some good things about being a sponge, because I think that's definitely really, really important if you're starting up. It's about learning these things, and about every day being a learning day. So thank you very much. I wish you massive, massive success.
Thank you.
And I look forward to watching your journey and seeing how well you do.
Thank you
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.